I'm Justin Mott, and welcome to my home here in Hanoi, Vietnam. And if you're new here, my channel is dedicated to all things photography from the perspective of a full-time working professional photographer. And I'm embarrassed to say it, but throughout my career, I've had stuff stolen from me. I've had camera gear stolen from me, had an attempted robbery, had a gun pointed in my face. I won a fight and got my gear back throughout my entire career, living in Southeast Asia, but traveling around the world. I don't want you guys to have to go through these situations as well. So today I'm going to give you some tips on how to travel with your gear. More importantly, how to be safe with your gear when you travel. So let's get into it and let's talk photography. Alright guys, as always, don't forget to check out my online store at justinmott.com, where I've got presets that will not make you a better photographer, but they will add some pop to your images. And I've also got prints available with free shipping in the US and Canada. And lastly, I've got a variety of one-on-one classes, and right now my mega package, my ultimate package, my monthly mentorship program, which used to be $1,500 per month. That includes 4 one-hour one-on-one sessions. It also includes unlimited access with me for that entire month via WhatsApp. This is a package for anyone that really wants to dive in with their photography, that wants a polite kick in the butt. Now it's $500 off. It's only $999. Some people go month to month. Some people do it as a one-off thing. And I help you improve in your photography by helping you find a project, execute that project each week. We talk about images. I help you improve when you go back out and reshoot. Check that out. I've also got a bunch of other classes available on there at justinmott.com. I've lived in Vietnam for almost 20 years now. And every time someone comes here to visit or people do my workshops, they're always like, oh, is it safe there? I heard a lot of people get robbed. First of all, it's probably a lot more safe than a lot of cities that my friends are coming to from America, especially San Francisco. But you can get robbed here. It is usually a less violent robbery like it would be maybe in the US. Not a lot of armed robbery here, but it can happen. It can happen anywhere, so it can't hurt to take some precautionary measures. So today I'm going to make you less robbable. I know that's not a word, but I'm going to make you less robbable if you listen to my advice. So let's start right away with trusting your instincts. Trust your gut. Trust that feeling that you have when you think you're in an unsafe situation. Don't let other people talk you out of trusting your instincts. A great example of this was the first time I went to Venezuela. I went to Caracas. It was quite a dangerous city. This was 20 years ago. I traveled with a friend of mine. First day, we were at a outdoor market, and I noticed these dudes following us, and I just kept saying, like, man, there's something weird. I keep seeing these same guys. It was 10 a.m. My friend was like, oh, don't worry about it. You're being such a gringo. You're being so paranoid. He had traveled in South America a lot more than I had, so he was like, you're just being worried for no reason. Guess what? I wasn't. About an hour later, I heard that same friend who was telling me I was overreacting, being paranoid, screaming because the guy was pulling on his camera. He was pulling on his Holga, trying to steal it. Next thing you know, someone's trying to grab my light meter. I had a Leica. They went for the light meter and the Holga. Bad thieves, first of all. But whatever. My instincts were, don't trust these guys. Something's going on. We're being followed. I let him talk me out of it and wasn't on my guard. He almost got his stuff stolen. I fought these guys off. I was young, I was fit, had a gun pulled on me by the police. It was a whole ordeal, but in the end, no gear was stolen, but I didn't trust my instincts, and my instincts were right. So first tip, trust your instincts. Second tip is to not be flashy. What does that mean? Like, yeah, obviously you don't travel around like a diamond encrusted camera strap or like a Louis Vuitton bag, but even more than that, like there's little things you can do. Like first of all, your camera strap, you don't need to have like a branded camera strap that says, I've got a Leica M10P on it. I don't know if they make those, but Sony does and Canon does, and it says like the model number. Just get like an all black simple camera strap or something comfortable. It don't have the brand written on it. It's just another thing for their eye to go to, at least eye to go to. So you don't need a camera strap that says the name of the camera on it. You can just remember what camera you have because it's yours and you bought it and you spent your money on it. Another little tip is to tape up your camera. I did a whole episode about how I tape up my Leicas, and people got like really excited about it, and some liked it, and some people got really angry about it. Chill out. I just put tape on my camera. It cost me like 50 cents to do it, and it takes like 5 minutes, and it doesn't ruin my camera. Another little bonus to that, it keeps it fresh, protects it from scratches. And I know it's not going to deter everyone, but for that cost and that amount of time, it's just a simple little fix, and it helps protect my camera as well from scratches. So for me, it's a win-win. For a lot of people out there, you got really angry about it. You can check out that full episode. I'll put a link right here, but Wow, read the comment section. It's kind of funny. A couple other things you can do is if you're traveling with multiple cameras, you don't need to have them like all on you at the same time. Sure, it's nice to have a backup camera, and sometimes I understand you want to shoot with two bodies, two fixed lenses. Understood. But if it's not that type of situation, or if you're in a situation where it's a little bit more sketchy, or you feel something's a little sketchy, you could put one of those cameras away. Again, I'm not saying this is 100% going to help, but put one of the cameras in the bag, or even better yet, if you're not far from the hotel and you have that other camera as like a backup in case something happens, you can leave your other camera at the hotel if you don't need it that day, or if that's the day you're going to a sketchy neighborhood, or even touristy areas. That's a little side tip there. Touristy areas tend to be the most dangerous areas because that's where thieves go, because that's where you guys are. Not all of you guys, but that's where a lot of people with nice equipment are. They're easy targets. So not saying don't go to touristy areas, but be extra cautious there, even more cautious than areas that aren't so touristy. Hope that makes sense. You can also have like a cheaper camera that you use if you like to go to like more seedy neighborhoods, or if you travel to countries that aren't as safe. When I'm in an area that I don't feel 100% safe for my gear, I travel my little Ricoh. I love that little camera. It's $700 compared to Leica, which is like $8,000. So yes, I prefer to use the Leica, but sometimes, some situations, I bust out the little Ricoh. That's my little low-key, sketchy camera. It's nice to have. So whatever that version is for you, think about it and use it when you can. The thing related to the bling is your bag. You don't need a blingy bag. And that bling doesn't necessarily mean like expensive fabric or brand names. It's also, I think it applies twofold. Yes, it applies for me to like a Billingham bag, for example. It looks expensive. It looks kind of snobby. It's the kind of bag like, oh, pardon me, I've got really expensive stuff in here. Let me get through. I've got my Leica in here, my Leica M10D, my Leica Q3. I'm talking in this voice. I don't know. I have some of these cameras. Yes, their bags are nice. And yes, maybe you can use them in certain cities if you feel safe, wherever you live. If that's a safe area and that's what you're going to use day to day, fine, go ahead. But when you're traveling to certain areas, I made that mistake. I had a Billingham bag. I got robbed on a bus when I was in Bangkok, leaving Bangkok, and I think a lot of it had to do with that bag. I mean, I made stupid mistakes. I fell asleep. I had the bag off to the side. Someone took some memory cards out. Not the full bag was taken, but while I was sleeping with my headphones on, making all these stupid mistakes, which I'm telling you guys not to make, someone took a bunch of memory cards out of my bag. It was in that little front pocket, and they took one of my lav mics. So that's like $1,000 worth of equipment, and that's a lot of money now, but that was especially a lot of money early on in my career. In addition to that, the sort of expensive looking bags, there's also the obvious camera bags, like the low pro bags and a lot of those ballistic nylon backpacks or roller bags. Like sometimes you need a roller bag, sure. Sometimes you need a larger backpack, yeah, okay. But you don't necessarily need a bag that advertises that you have like a ton of expensive gear in it. That's why I use like back here. You see my Wotancraft bags, little side plug for them. I use Wotancraft bags. They're not the only company that does this, but I like them for that. They're camera bags. They're durable. They're practical. They look nice, but they don't look expensive. They don't necessarily look like camera bags. So it's not like an immediate read for thieves. And that's the other thing, you guys. Sometimes these decisions are like micro decisions. So taping up the camera, taping up the logo, not having the big logo on your camera strap, not having the bag that looks like an obvious camera bag. Sometimes that's just the difference between these people robbing you and robbing someone else. So I like Wotancraft bags for that. Again, they don't look like camera bags, and at the same time, they're still stylish, but they don't look expensive. So that's what works for me. Figure out what works for you. If you're interested in Wotancraft bags, little side plug, check out the affiliate link in the description box below. Or don't use it and just check out their bags in general. That's how much I stand by their company. Love the guys, met the guys, use the products for years. So that leads me to the next piece of advice is just never let your guard down, never get too comfortable. Not to say that should get in the way of your enjoyment and get in the way of you thinking about making nice pictures and have a good time taking pictures, but just never get too comfortable like I did in Bangkok. I had been working in Southeast Asia for many years. I got cocky, I got comfortable. I knew all these things that I shouldn't do, but I still did them. I knew riding a bus, leaving Bangkok in the middle of the night, I knew I shouldn't have a flashy bag, but I did. I knew I shouldn't have fallen asleep on the bus with my headphones on because I won't hear stuff, but I did. I even worked with a fixer, but we spaced out our seats apart so that I could sprawl out, she could sprawl out, we could both be a little more comfortable. However, looking back, we obviously should have sat next to each other so we could look after each other in case something like this happened. Easily preventable, but again, I got comfortable. I let my guard down. Don't let your guard down. The next little piece of advice that finds its way into all my videos is just to prepare. Prepare, do your research. It's not that hard to know if a city's dangerous or if a particular part of a city or country is dangerous. Just go online. There's a photography group for every single city that you're going to travel to. Go on that group, ask questions, don't be shy. People will tell you. It just helps you be prepared. Don't necessarily let it deter you from going to certain places or shooting in certain neighborhoods, but just know that's, okay, this neighbor's a little more dangerous. maybe that's when you use the Ricoh. Maybe you have that less expensive or at least less expensive looking camera bag, or you just know in that area just to keep your guard up a little bit more. But again, you're never gonna let your guard down because I already told you not to. Okay, before I give you the last piece of advice, guys, just wanna remind you guys to like and subscribe. And if you like me, consider joining our little community. It's $4.99 a month, and it really does help the channel. And in addition to that, it helps you guys because if you are a member, I've got a ton of bonus content, early release content, a whole bunch of other perks. You can join our little photography community and help you grow as a photographer. $4.99 a month, hit the join button. Okay, back to the episode. All right, the last piece of advice is to not advertise that you have all this expensive gear, especially at airports and at your hotel. There's just no need to do it. Like, actually, people don't think that gear can be stolen at the airport and in the overhead bins. I've been talking to more flight attendants about this kind of stuff. It's happening. People do this kind of stuff. So there's no need to be like at the airport taking all your gear out, fumbling around. Pack ahead of time if you can, so then when you're sitting waiting to get on the flight, you're waiting at the gate, like, don't advertise you have all this stuff, because it's just, there are people that actually specifically fly on like domestic flights so they can take stuff out of people's bags. It happens, trust me. It doesn't happen a ton, but it does happen. So why advertise you have all this gear? So in addition to that, I try to keep most of my gear on me or under the seat when I fly, but if I have more gear, if I have a roller bag, I lock that roller bag and I put it in the overhead. If I have a larger backpack, try to lock that up if you can. If you can't, close all the zippers. Don't make it easy for people. And then I also always put it in the opposite overhead, not the one above me. I want to be able to see. And so if someone gets up to look around, I watch that person like a hawk. And not just for safety or stealing, I also watch them to make sure they're not going to like smash my lenses. So if someone's in there fumbling around with stuff, I say, hey, excuse me, I have fragile stuff in there. If you need me to move it, I will. Same thing goes with the hotel. Sure, nicer hotels, you might not have to worry about that, but every time you go to a hotel, they want to check you into the room, want to help you carry your gear. They're just being polite, understand that. I never let them do it. I just don't want to advertise. I don't want them picking up, wheeling my roller bag. One, for safety if they smash it into something. Two, they feel the weight in it. They know how expensive the gear is. And it's just an extra thing I don't want to have to deal with. Just an extra precaution. It doesn't cost me anything to do this. I can carry my gear myself. And so I've had stuff stolen out of hotel rooms before, and it's uncomfortable. And the person did get caught for it, and they got fired. And yeah, I mean, they did it to themselves, but it still sucked. It was still a bad situation. Again, this can be avoided if you're just not advertising. I don't like people to know. It's the same thing in my room when they clean the room. If I have any gear I left behind, if I have a roller bag, I'll leave it locked in there. If I don't have a roller bag, I'll put my gear, wrap it up nicely, and so it's safe, and I'll put it in my luggage bag and I'll lock that bag. I always travel with a locked bag. So the same thing at hotels, when they ask me what I'm doing or you're here for work or whatever. I know it's just casual conversation, and I know maybe I come off paranoid, but you just never know. So it's just not worth it. So I take a lot of precautionary measures. Maybe it's a little paranoid, but none of these things really cost me a lot of time, and none of them cost me much money at all. So those are some tips to help you guys travel safely next time with your expensive gear. Hope you don't get robbed. If you did get robbed, if you have a good story, let me know in the comments section. If you have any other tips that you want to add to this, please add them in the comments section. Or if you have any questions or just want to let me know what you thought about this video, again, add that in the comments section. I love having a dialogue. I try to answer every single question you guys ask. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, don't forget to check out my online store at justinmott.com. I've got presets, I've got online classes, and I've got prints. And lastly, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And wait, one more thing. Don't forget to have a wonderful day.